Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 7, Episode 12, Nightmare in Silver. Okay, Nightmare in Silver. This is written by Neil Gaiman. This is his second Doctor Who script, and it's clearly a major step down since The Doctor's Wife, and quite a few steps down. It's also the Cyberman episode of the series. Unfortunately, I think this episode is just in too much of a rush to actually be interested in telling the story. Because there's so much going on within 45 minutes. The story feels rushed, certainly in the direction. It feels so much in a hurry to get the story over and done with. The plot sees the Doctor, Clara, and Angie and Artie go to something world, a theme park world. It begins with a W. It's not Wickers. That's an actual place on Earth somewhere. But they go to this theme park planet, which has now been occupied by a platoon of soldiers that are formed of a punishment platoon. Those who have obviously failed in their duty or done something wrong. So they're there along with this entertaining traveling entertainer guy, and played by Jason Watkins, and a little guy called Porridge, played by Warwick Davis, who operates this Cyberman suit to play chess. And by this point, the Cybermen and the humans, or humanoid races, have been in a war for millennia, until about a millennium previously. They were destroyed. I think it was a millennium. Anyway, it was some time ago. They were destroyed, being in this galaxy which was destroyed, and it took the Cybermen with them. Or so it appears. 3 cybersuits still survived. One from Mondas in the design we see in Series 6, which is a Mondasian Cyberman, and 2 Cybus Cybermen from the parallel world introduced in 2006. There's also these little creatures called Cybermites, which by the looks of it are upgraded insects or robotic devices made to look like insects. So no Cybermats in this story, we got Cybermites instead. And with death, they help to control a cybersuit and soon upgrade Jason Watkins' character into a part-converted Cyberman. Not too dissimilar to what it was like in Torchwood's Cyberwoman, but a lot less gory and brutal and nasty. More of it's the start of the conversion stages. Angie and Artie also get kidnapped by Cybermen, to be, and Artie by Watkins' character after a slight conversion, and then Angie by a new Cyberman to be converted into Cybermen, although they only get the control devices on their necks, and the Doctor is then converted into the Cyber Planner, although he attempts to fight back in his, and the two try to fight over his mind using a game of chess. Although chess game against Fenric, this is not, although it is a nice, interesting concept. This leaves Clara to join the band of Clara and Porridge to join the punishment platoon and take over as their leader, and fight back against the Cybermen, especially when the captain is killed by a Cyberman. And that's basically the story. So, yeah, Nightmare in Silver. It seems to be in a rush. First of all, we got to have our setup of the location, but we also got the army being stationed down here, introduced to Watkins' character and Davis's character, and the cyber suits. That's all pretty decent. Although Angie and Artie, whilst they were set up pretty well at the end of the last episode, they don't do anything. They honestly don't do anything. You could have them removed from this story and you would not lose much. Not really. The most it contributes to the story is the Doctor sacrificing his queen in the chess game. But even then, you could have done that anyway. You could have done that for any other reason. Maybe to save Clara, perhaps. Yeah, Angie and Artie just pointlessly there. They don't need to be there. It would have been fine if they did something, but no, they're there and then they get kidnapped and almost converted. Maybe it wouldn't have been too bad if the characters were likable. I mean, Artie's okay. He's got some likable personality, but he just doesn't do much. And as for Angie, she's honestly a bit of a selfish brat in places. and she goes to the barracks of the platoon where she's bored, and then she has a go at Clara for coming to find her. But Angie, you went without telling them, so of course Clara and the Doctor are going to be worried about you. No one, and they're going to be annoyed that you left when and disobeyed the Doctor's orders of not wandering off. At least Archie followed instructions, although he didn't fare much better when Watkins, after being converted, came and grabbed him. So, yeah, but Angie, why are you being so bitchy towards Clara? I mean, fair enough if you've got child carer frustrations, but now and reasoning why is a bit questionable at this moment. And like I said, she then gets kidnapped and partially converted until later on, where they're saved, and then somehow at the end, she's the one who realizes Porridge is the emperor who has run away based on the coin and the statue. Although we didn't get a look of the coin, and the statue looks slightly indifferent to Warwick Davis, so that we don't actually know, that we don't actually make that connection. Only Angie's the one that makes the connection. We, the audience, wouldn't know because we didn't see the coin, and the statue actually doesn't look that close to Warwick Davis. Maybe if it looked a bit more like Warwick Davis, then it would have made sense. But no, it doesn't. We, the audience, don't make the connection because it just comes out of nowhere. Okay, there are some clues and hints to it, but I think it's better to notice those on a rewatch rather than on a first time viewing, because you will miss those cases. And well, speaking of those moments, that's between Porridge and the captain. Tansmin something, I believe, plays this character, and she is wasted. She gets absolutely wasted. The character's pointless, even. She's just a captain of the platoon who just dies. And then she has these moments with Porridge. So she's wasted. The other members of the platoon are actually quite likeable for the small amount of screen time they got. One of them is called Missy, by the way, not to be confused with Missy from next season. But yeah, the soldiers in this platoon don't do an awful lot, but they're fine for what they are. It's just, I think the captain was really wasted. Half the episode she's spent just saying, I need to blow up this planet, even if you won't let me. I'll do it anyway if I have to. And then I will blow up this planet because I do have to. Oh, I'm dead now. I don't know. This episode just feels like it's in so much of a rush to get the storyline because so much is going on so quickly. I feel like the direction. This is probably one of the weakest directed episodes of the series. I can't remember who directed it, but it just feels a bit too much in a rush. Maybe that was partially on editing, and there's so many fast-paced camera shots, really fastly paced. It just feels a bit odd. That's really about it, I can say. Production-wise, it looks pretty good, and I like the new Cyberman designs, although it is questionable that they showed off the new Cyberman design pretty early in the episode instead of waiting till later. And these Cybermen can clearly upgrade themselves to be better at stuff, but when that's first Cyberman that goes into the water, when they electrocute it, they electrocute the water as a defense at the castle that they're hiding at. First Cyberman goes into the water and it fried him, and then it goes upgrade and it's fine. And the Cybermen are now they don't have to worry about the electronic water. I think it should have taken out that Simon. I think Mr. TARDIS Reviews brought this up in his reaction back in 2013. It should have knocked that Cyberman out, and then the others upgraded, and then they stormed the castle. Like when they get destroyed by the gun that Clara and another guy used to shoot the Simon. It disintegrates them, but then they upgrade, and they're immune to that gun now, so they don't die from that. And that should have been something similar with the electrical water. They should have done that. And the turning of the heads and removing the head of a player and the hand movements, that's pretty good. I don't mind that. That's pretty interesting for the Cybermen. And heck, having the Cybermen fly, that could have been interesting. Oh, wait! Oh, we're going to see that happen next time, aren't we? I mean, it probably would have been interesting if it wasn't for the fact they became Iron Man in the when they do fly in the next Cyberman story. Well, technically the next time we see them is Time of the Doctor, but I meant the one afterwards, the next proper Cyberman story. If it wasn't for the fact they looked a lot like Iron Man, it probably would have been okay, really. Anyway, the new Cyberman designs actually look pretty good. I like them. I think they're pretty good. I prefer the previous designs, though, although I am glad these Cybermen are a lot faster, although a bit too fast by the looks of it. They like really quick, and I think they slow down after after this story, they slow down. But yeah, I do like this design, and I like Neil Gaiman's theory that the Cyber Sidemen and the Monda Sidemen with similar cyber suits teamed up to create a new batch of Sidemen. That's a pretty interesting idea. So I like that idea. And finally, the end of the episode is okay. I think this is a stronger ending than what we've had so far. In fact, I think the final act of the episode is better than most of the rest, despite a fast-paced feel. So they destroyed the Cybermen by blowing up the planet, as Porridge is able to do that through the voice activation, and then the humans and the Doctor escape, and then Dr. Clara and the kids go home, and the Porridge and his team, Porridge's people, they set off. But there's a lone Cybermite that has escaped, like the Cybermat from the end of the Tomb of the Cybermen, suggesting there could be more Cybermen to come in the future, and we will see that in the Time of the Doctor onwards. Even so much that there'll be another Cyber War come Series 12's finale, where they have to battle Mondasian / cyber suit Cybermen, although with a slight different chest design in some scenes, and also these Cybermen before creating a new batch of Cybermen in Ascension of the Cybermen. But more on that later. In the meantime, Nightmare in Silver. I think it's just too fast paced. I think it really needs to slow down. It really needs to slow down and actually show off the Cybermen a bit more. Angie and Artie are pointless. I don't know why they're in this episode. Who thought it was a good idea to put them in this episode? They really weren't needed. Clara's... No, I think they also have a missed opportunity of Clara not being that much scared and caring of the kids. There's a few points, but I don't think she actually shows off enough that Kara would. Maybe if they were actually related, maybe if she was or if she feels like she's like their big sister or something, not actual big sister, but if they kind of felt like she was a big sister or something, then maybe there could have been a bit more gravitas. But they're just she's just taking care of them, and that's about it. There's some worrying about them, but not really enough to really show off Clara having being too worried about them. She's worried, but not too much. Yeah, that's about right. Jenna Coleman does well, though. The supporting cast are pretty good, with Warwick Davis being brilliant, as is Jason Watkins. His character sadly doesn't make it. I think the captain actress is all right, but she's wasted, and the other supporting cast are pretty good. Matt Smith is outstanding, both as the Doctor and the Cyber Planet. This is a brilliant performance, two brilliant performances from Matt Smith, especially when he gets to play the Cyber Planet. He gets to go pretty evil. This is basically Matt Smith's the Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve / The Enemy of the World, where he's playing two different characters in the same story, except they're sharing the same body and mind this time around. Oh, and Meglos. Meglos also counts. But this time they're actually sharing the same body, whilst two being different people. But the Cyber Planet is trying to get control of the Doctor's body, and they're fighting each other, and then playing a game of chess with each other in order to win the body. It's pretty good, and there's some... the way the Doctor defeats the Cyber Planet is it's alright, it's pretty interesting. I like the reference to the Cybermen originally being allergic to gold. That's a nice nod to the classic series from 1975 onwards, as Revenge of the Cybermen established their weakness was gold, which stuck around until the end of the classic series, and now it's back, maybe just for this one time, but still, pretty nice. And that's really about it for Nightmare in Silver. But yeah, Nightmare in Silver, there's not really an awful lot more I can talk about. It's just it's okay. It's very fast paced. I think there should have been more emotion between Clara and the kids, considering they're in her care. I think there should have been more character personality between the three of them. No, Clara, there should have been more personality. The other two, the kids, should have had more to do. And Angie, I think, should not have been so much of a selfish brat. The soldiers could have been a bit better, specifically the captain. And the Cybermen, they cheat a few points. I think maybe we could have changed some stuff around there. Just a few script edits, a few alterations. It wouldn't have harmed them. But the best stuff is clearly with the Doctor and the Cyber Planet, battling it out between the two minds. They are absolutely brilliant. And there's some great comedy between them. Some great character interactions. I think I'm not quite sure, but this story may have been rewritten by another person. Neil Gaiman wrote the story and then someone else rewrote it, perhaps. I'm not quite sure. I'm not certain whether that was the case. If so, it is a bit of a disappointment that Neil Gaiman's original draft didn't get made. And if it's not true, then it is a bit of a shame that Neil Gaiman did have a step down this time. Maybe it wasn't completely his fault. Maybe the requirements of Angianati and the new Cybermen designs may have harmed it a little bit. Maybe the direction and the editing didn't quite match on point with in some places. It's just a bit of a strange one. It just feels a bit odd. It feels that it's in a rush to be over and done with. But at the same time, it just feels very odd. I'm not quite sure what to do with this one. I've settled on giving it a 6 out of 10 because it just feels a bit strange. So, Nightmare in Silver, I will give a 6 out of 10. It's not bad, no way, but it's not that great either. It's kind of mediocre. It's alright. It's just above halfway. I think the Doctor's performance, I think maybe if it wasn't for Matt Smith, this story might even have gone into 5, maybe even 4 territory. But because of Matt Smith, it was a great episode. A really great episode. Also, Warwick Davis's Greatest Porridge. And Jason Watkins was also fun in his role. Even when he was converted into a Cyberman, he was quite fun. Oh yeah, and the Cyber Planner. He's very emotional in this story. He's even more emotional than the Cyber Leader from Earthshock. So, that was an odd decision, but you know what? I'll accept it because Matt Smith does an outstanding performance. It is good to have the Cyber Planner back for the first time since the invasion. But there isn't really a huge amount of positives I can give. I just feel it's a bit strange. It's a strange one. It could have had a bit more tweaks to it to fix it up and smooth it out a little bit. But it's not bad. There's a couple of positives in there to keep it afloat just enough to be considered just below good, or high mediocre at the very least. That's it from me. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for the Series 7 finale, The Name of the Doctor, and the beginning of the Doctor trilogy, or quadology if you count the Night of the Doctor as part of that quadology. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. Anyway, so the new Cyberman designs actually look pretty interesting. I think they're pretty decent. It's not bad. It's no way near bad. It's not even as it's not even as but it's not a bad one, and there's a few positives in there to still, well, quite there's and the beginning of the Doctor trilogy, or quadology if you count the Night of the Doctor,